Hear these words, though they are poison. Hear them, though the Inquisition would burn the tongue that dares shape them, and silence the ears that dare listen. The Imperium calls it service. The priests call it devotion. The Inquisition calls it duty. But I tell you the truth, written in ash and blood. To serve the Emperor of mankind is to embrace annihilation. It is to stand upon the edge of an endless grave, shovel in hand, and throw oneself willingly into the pit. They do not speak of this in the sermons. They chant his name as though he still lives, though he has been chained to the throne of Carrion for 10,000 years. They tell you it is honor when it is only suffering. They tell you it is salvation when it is damnation clothed in gold. The Emperor does not know your name. The Emperor does not hear your prayers. The Emperor does not care for your sacrifice. He is a corpse, and you are his fuel. I was once a servant, as all men and women are. I have seen the truth from 1,000 angles, in the trenches where guardsmen rot, in the dungeons where psychers scream, in the vaults where inquisitors plot, and even in the cathedrals where saints kneel before a throne of bone. This is not blasphemy. This is revelation. Let me open your eyes. You are born beneath a sky of smoke, in a hive city that never sleeps, or on a dirt world that never prospers. The air tastes of iron and decay. The food is ash pressed into shape. Your life belongs not to you, but to the tithe, the endless hunger of the Imperium. The tithe comes, and the tithe takes. It does not matter if you are strong or weak, noble or worthless. If you are chosen, you will serve, and service for most means war. You are given a fragile thing that spits light as though such light could burn back the darkness. You are given armor thin as parchment, painted the color of mud or ash. You are told this is protection, though it will not stop a claw, a bolt shell, or even a knife driven by a desperate hand. You are herded with 1,000 others, pressed into ranks, drilled until your bones ache. You are taught to march in step, to chant the litanies, to fire when commanded and never before. They tell you that discipline is your shield, that faith is your armor. Lies to make you stand still when the monsters come. And the monsters always come. Orcs that roar and split men in two with crude axes. Tyranids that descend in swarms, each claw tearing, each mouth devouring. Demons that whisper your name in your dreams before they rip it from your soul. You will face these things, not once, not twice, again and again, until your body is broken or your mind is ash. Do you think the Emperor will save you? No. Do you think your commissar will protect you? No. His bolt pistol waits behind your head should your courage falter. In truth, you are not a soldier. You are a sandbag placed before the enemy to slow the flood. You are ammunition made of flesh. You are meat thrown into the jaws of horrors beyond reason. This is the honor of the guardsman, to die nameless in the mud. Your body trampled, your skull broken, your blood seeping into the soil of a world you never knew until the day you died upon it. No statue will rise for you. No hymn will bear your memory. Perhaps, if your regiment survives, they will leave a marker of stone upon the mass grave, where your body lies with 1,000 others. Perhaps not. The Emperor does not see you. The Imperium does not remember you, but you will serve, and you will die, because that is the only truth of the Imperial Guard. The galaxy is infinite, and you are nothing. There are those who are cursed from birth. You call them witches. The Imperium calls them psychers. Their gift is no blessing. It is a brand, a mark of doom etched into the marrow of their souls. When their powers awaken, their eyes bleed with visions. Their dreams are filled with whispers from the warp, and shadows stir in places where no light should fall. Families hide them, fearing the attention of the black ships. Neighbors betray them, hoping to cleanse the taint. Some psychers go mad long before they are ever taken, driven to self-mutilation or murder by voices that are not their own. But sooner or later, the black ships always come. Great, silent leviathans of iron and shadow descend upon the worlds of man, and from them come the gatherers, faceless in black robes, bearing chains of silver and seals of purity. They take the psychers in silence, dragging them screaming or broken into the darkness of their holds. The people cheer when the ships depart. They believe themselves purified. They do not see what becomes of those taken. I have seen, I have heard, the journey aboard the black ship is a dungeon without end. The psychers are chained in cells where the walls drip with frost and iron. They are packed by the thousands, row after row, bodies pressed close, heads bowed under the weight of their shackles. Their wails echo endlessly through the halls. Some starve, their rationed gruel too little to sustain them. Some are torn apart when their powers flare uncontrollably, and the custodians cut them down with blades of light before corruption can spread. When the ship reaches Terra, the true fate of the psychers begins. They are marched in endless columns through the halls of the palace, blindfolded, shackled, their bare feet cut by the stones of ancient pavements that have drunk the blood of 10,000 generations. The air is heavy with incense, but beneath the perfume lies another stench, the sour stink of sweat, terror, and charred flesh. They are taken to the golden throne. Ah, the golden throne, how the priests sing of its glory, a seat of eternity, a beacon that lights the Astronomicon. They do not tell you the price. The throne is hunger given form, a machine that devours souls to keep the emperor's husk alive. Every day, thousands of psychers are dragged before it. Their throats are opened, their bodies strapped down, their minds torn apart. Their life sense, their psychic spark, is fed into the machine, burned in an instant to power the light that guides mankind's fleets. Can you imagine it? Thousands every day, millions every year, billions across the millennia, all screaming as the throne devours them. Their voices do not reach the emperor. They reach only the dark. Some whisper that the emperor is dead, and it is the throne itself that feeds upon these psychers. A machine god with no master. Others say he lives, but in a state beyond life, deaf to all but the endless river of souls poured into his body. The priests call it the great sacrifice. They tell the people that the psychers are honored, that they give their lives for the survival of mankind. But the psychers do not go willing. They go weeping, clawing, begging for mercy, only to be silenced by the chanting of 1,000 robed figures who drown their cries with hymns. And this is the truth. If you are gifted with the power of the mind, your fate is not glory, but consumption. You are not a servant of the emperor. You are his meal. Your life is measured in the length of a scream, the ecclesiarchy would burn these words. They say the emperor watches, that he takes each soul with loving hands, drawing them into his light. They say the psychers are blessed, but I have seen their faces as they die. I have seen their eyes bulge, their mouths stretched wide until the jaw cracks, their minds shredded as the throne feasts. And I tell you this, no God of love watches them, no Savior greets them, only the endless dark and the gnawing silence of a corpse that cannot even thank them for their agony. Such is service to the emperor. If you are cursed with the gift of the warp, you do not serve, you are consumed. There is one lie greater than all others within the Imperium. It is the lie of the angels of death. The common man looks to the skies and whispers prayers to the space marines. They see demigods in armor, saviors of humanity, avatars of the emperor's will. To gaze upon one is to tremble between terror and awe. Songs are sung of their valor, statues carved in their image. They are eternal, untouchable. But I tell you, they are not saviors. They are not angels. They are not men. They are corpses that walk, their humanity cut away piece by piece until only obedience remains. It begins with a child, a boy of 12, perhaps younger, perhaps older, taken from his tribe, his family, his world. The process is never the same, for each chapter has its rituals, but all share this in common. The boy ceases to belong to himself. He is tested, he is beaten, he is starved. He is forced to kill his brothers with his bare hands, or watch them be slain before his eyes. He learns hunger, cold, pain, despair. His name is stripped from him. His past is burned away. He is told again and again that he is nothing, nothing but raw flesh to be remade. If he survives, the surgeries begin. Organs, 19 in number, carved from other warriors and grafted into his body. Glands that poison his blood, that let him spit acid or devour raw flesh. A heart that beats twice. A lung that drinks poison and calls it air. His bones are broken and reforged, strengthened with adamantium until they are more metal than marrow. He is drowned in chemicals. He is fed stimulants that twist his mind, heighten his aggression, strip away fear. His sleep is haunted by hypno-indoctrination, endless voices drilling into his skull until he no longer remembers what thoughts are his own. If he resists, he dies. If his body rejects the organs, he dies. If his mind breaks under the indoctrination, he dies. And those who die are not mourned. Their corpses are cast into pits, burned to ash, forgotten. For the few who endure, there is no victory, only transformation. Their voices deepen, their skulls swell, their eyes sharpen until they glow with an unnatural light. They become taller, broader, monstrous. A boy of 12 becomes a giant of 8 feet, clad in armor that weighs as much as a man. But though the body grows, the soul withers. Do you think he remembers the warmth of his mother's hand? Do you think he recalls the sound of his name, whispered in love? No, such memories are burned away, replaced by catechisms, litanies, oaths. The only word that remains is duty. And then comes the final death. They are given the armor, the bolter, the chains. They kneel before a shrine, swearing fealty to a God they will never hear. And the last spark of the child dies in that kneeling. From then on, he is no longer a boy, no longer a man. He is a weapon, a tool, a thing that kills until it is broken. The Imperium calls this ascension, but I tell you, it is murder, not of the flesh, but of the soul. The angels of death do not smile. They do not love. They do not weep. They know nothing of joy, nothing of sorrow, nothing but obedience. Their loyalty is not faith, but programming. And yet, even these giants, even these hollowed husks of men, are still slaves. They fight eternally, for there is no peace for a space marine, no rest, no home, only the battlefield, until at last their armor cracks and their bodies fall to ruin. There is no retirement. There is no end. Even in death, their bones are scavenged, their flesh interred in sarcophagi, entombed coffins where the warrior fights on, long past the point when any sane man would beg for release. Imagine it, to lie broken, your body ruined beyond repair, your organs failing, your mind weary with centuries of slaughter, and instead of death, they seal you into a machine of iron, where you fight on for another 1,000 years, deaf to all but the war. This is the truth of the angels of death. They are not blessed. They are not holy. They are not even men. They are the Emperor's chained hounds, and even the hound, in the end, longs only for death. There is a terror greater than the Xenos. There is a terror greater than the heretic. There is a terror greater even than the demon. It is the gaze of the Inquisition. You are told that the Inquisition is mankind's shield, that they are the watchful servants of the Emperor, ever vigilant against corruption. They wear rosettes carved with the holy eye, and when they speak, whole worlds tremble. But the truth is this: the Inquisition is not a shield. It is a knife, and sooner or later, that knife turns upon you. The Inquisition does not answer to kings or generals, or even the high lords of Terra. They answer only to themselves, and to the silent corpse upon the golden throne, and in their eyes, you are never innocent. You are only guilty of a crime not yet revealed. Have you fought against demons? You are tainted. Have you seen a relic of the warp? You are corrupted. Have you spoken words of doubt? You are heretical. Have you survived where others perished? Suspicion alone is enough. Do you think loyalty will save you? Do you think faith will protect you? No. The Inquisition has burned worlds of the faithful because one city whispered heresy. They have executed entire regiments of guardsmen because a single soldier looked too long into the shadows. They have silenced whole hive spires, not because of proof, but because of fear. Fear is their gospel. Purity is their weapon. I have seen them at work. The black ship does not always come for sight. Sometimes it comes for you. You hear the bells, you see the seal, and the streets fall silent. Then the agents descend, stormtroopers in carapace armor, their eyes hidden behind lenses of glass, their voices flat with Fox distortion. Behind them walks the Inquisitor, cloaked, hooded, his face shadowed, his hand upon the bolt pistol at his belt. He does not need to accuse. His presence is accusation enough. One word, and you are dragged into darkness. One word, and your family is taken with you. One word, and your city is ash. They say the Emperor gave them this authority, but the Emperor is silent, and his silence is their license. I remember a world called Helier. It was not mine, but I walked its streets. It was a place of industry, a hive world with 1,000,000 chimneys. The people worked. They prayed. They bled upon the altars, as all good imperials do. Then came a whisper of cult activity. One man claimed he saw a mark carved in the dust, a symbol too close to the eye of terror. One priest claimed he heard a word in his dreams, a syllable that sounded too much like a demon's name. And so the Inquisition came, not with patience, not with investigation, with fire. I saw it from the hills. The hive burned from the top down, towers collapsing, bodies falling like ash. They did not search for heretics. They did not test for corruption. They burned everything, for it was easier than discernment. 1 billion souls gone in flame, because one inquisitor decreed that it was safer that way. Was there a cult? Perhaps. Perhaps not. Does it matter? That is the truth of the Inquisition. They are not guardians. They are executioners. To serve the emperor is to live always beneath their gaze, never knowing if tomorrow will bring the hammer of their judgment. And yet, here is the most cruel truth of all. The Inquisition is not united. There are factions within it. Ordo Malleus, Ordo Xenos, Ordo Hereticus, each with their enemies and rivals. Some are radicals, using the weapons of chaos to fight chaos. Some are Puritans, who would burn whole sectors rather than risk a single mutation. And they turn their knives not only upon humanity, but upon each other. To serve the emperor is to live in terror not only of the alien, the mutant, the heretic, but of your own masters. The emperor is silent. His inquisitors are not, and their voices are fire. 10,000 years. That is how long the emperor has sat upon the golden throne. 10,000 years, unmoving. 10,000 years. 10,000 years, dead yet not dead. The priests call it eternity. They call it proof of his divinity. They say he holds back the storm of the warp with his will alone, a god enthroned upon Terra. They call him the master of mankind, the savior of souls, the light of the Imperium. But I tell you, he does not speak. He does not move. He does not answer. The emperor is a corpse sustained by the endless feast of psyker souls, lashed to a throne that gnaws upon them like a beast. The Astronomicon burns bright, because countless minds are extinguished every day, but that light is not his voice. It is not his hand. It is not his will. It is only a beacon, a torch fed with lives. The high lords of Terra claim his authority. They sit in their councils, robed and jeweled, and issue decrees in his name. But they do not hear his words, for he has none. His silence is their license. His absence is their power. Do you understand? Every soldier who dies upon the front, every world burned by the Inquisition, every soul torn from its body to feed the throne, all of it is done in the name of a God who has not spoken in 10 millennia. And still the people kneel. They kneel in the streets of hive cities, where the air chokes with soot. They kneel on battlefields, their knees sinking into the blood mud. They kneel in shrines carved from bones, whispering prayers to a God who cannot hear. They kneel because they must, for to stand is heresy, to doubt is damnation, to speak the truth that he is silent, the truth that he is dead, is to invite the bolt pistol, the pyre, the lash of the Inquisitor. I have seen pilgrims march across the dust deserts of Terra, barefoot, bleeding, crawling on their knees for miles, only to collapse in death before the walls of the palace. Their blood stains the stone. Their bodies are cast into pits. Do you think the emperor's gaze fell upon them in their final agony? No, his eyes are closed. The palace itself is a tomb. Its halls echo with the sound of machinery, the grinding of ancient gears, the droning of a billion servitors who keep the throne. The air reeks of oil and decay. Dust settles thick upon its banners, and at its heart lies the throne room, a chamber so vast that a cathedral could be lost within it. There he sits, not robed in glory, not radiant with life, but a husk, a withered body bound to cables, tubes piercing his flesh, skull bare and dry as parchment, a skeleton given mockery of motion by machinery older than memory. The custodians stand watch, their golden armor gleaming. They guard him with absolute devotion. But what do they guard? A body, a corpse, a relic. And the most terrifying truth of all is this: perhaps the emperor is not there at all. Perhaps his soul has long since departed, cast adrift in the immaterium, lost to madness or consumed by the warp. Perhaps what sits upon the throne is only a husk, an empty shell fed with souls that go nowhere. If that is true, then the Imperium kneels not before a god, but before a corpse. An empire of billions upon billions, bled dry, sacrificed, enslaved all for the silence of a dead man. And yet still they chant, still they kneel, still they kill in his name, not because he commands it, but because his silence has become command, because his absence has become presence, because they fear that without him there is nothing. And perhaps they are right, for in the grim darkness of the far future, what is more terrifying than a god who is dead? Only this: a god who does not care. There is no peace in the Imperium. There is no reprieve, no sanctuary, no rest. The galaxy is fire, and mankind is the fuel. Every hour 1,000 wars rage across 1,000 worlds. Some are great campaigns that last centuries, with fleets the size of continents clashing in the void. Others are skirmishes on forgotten rocks, where a single platoon dies in silence and no record of their struggle is ever kept. But whether great or small, the truth is the same: the war never ends. They tell you it is for survival, that without war, humanity would perish. But that is only half the truth. The deeper truth, the one they will never speak, is that war itself has become the Imperium's heartbeat. It cannot stop. It dare not stop. For if the guns fall silent, the Imperium will hear the Emperor's silence too clearly, and so the blood must flow. Consider the guardsman, born to die, his life measured in law shots and bayonet charges. He is not asked if he wishes to fight. He is told. And when he falls, another takes his place, and another, until the regiment itself is ash, and a new one is raised. Generations of nameless dead, all buried in the mud of forgotten wars. Consider the psyker, dragged screaming from their homes, devoured by the throne. They do not fight with bolter or blade, but their deaths fuel the Astronomica. And through that beacon, the fleets of the Imperium sail to new wars, to new worlds, to new pyres. Their screams are the oil of the war machine. Consider the shaped into monsters, stripped of humanity, given centuries of slaughter. They do not live lives, they live campaigns. There every breath is war, their every thought is duty. And when they fall, their names are carved into stone, not in mourning, but in command. Be like him, die like him. Consider the Inquisition, ever watchful, ever suspicious, burning worlds in the name of purity. They say they prevent corruption. In truth, they feed the fire. Each purge, each execution, each pyre adds to the atmosphere of fear. And fear is the mortar that holds the Imperium together. And above all of this, the Emperor, silent on his throne. His light guides fleets into war. His silence is filled with orders spoken by others. His death is denied because the Imperium cannot survive the truth. The war is eternal, not because humanity must fight, but because humanity has been remade into nothing but war. It is not survival. It is not defense. It is ritual. A ritual of sacrifice, repeated endlessly to hide the corpse upon the throne. There will never be victory. There will never be an end. For even if the Xenos were destroyed, even if the warp were sealed, even if the stars themselves burned out, Imperium would still find enemies within. They would still burn their own worlds. They would still kill their own people. For the Imperium cannot live without death. This is the eternal war, a war not for the Emperor, but for the lie of the Emperor. I have shown you the Guard, who die nameless. I have shown you the Psychers, who are devoured. I have shown you the Astartes, who are mutilated into weapons. I have shown you the Inquisition, who burn the innocent. I have shown you the Emperor, who is silent. Now I tell you the final truth. To serve the Emperor is to be nothing. You are not remembered. You are not honored. You are not saved. You are spent. Your blood feeds the mud. Your screams feed the throne. Your flesh feeds the machine of war. And when you are gone, when your bones are dust, another will take your place, and another, and another. An endless procession of slaves offering themselves to a God who does not answer. The Imperium tells you this is glory. The priests tell you this is salvation. The Commissar tells you this is duty. But I tell you, it is slavery wrapped in prayer. The galaxy is vast, and it is dying. Xenos swarm from every shadow. Demons claw from every rift. Civil war tears at the Imperium's bones. And through it all, mankind throws its children into the fire, believing that if enough are burned, the flames will become light. But the fire does not become light. It only consumes. This is the terrifying truth. The Emperor of mankind does not need your love. He does not need your faith. He does not need your name. He needs only your death. And when the last man falls, when the last guardsman's lasgun runs dry, when the last Psycher's scream fades into the throne, when the last Astartes' armor lies shattered in the dust, the Emperor will still be silent, and the galaxy will still be dark. So kneel if you must. Pray if you must. Die as you must. But know this, you are not serving him. You are serving the silence.